The phone screen lit up. A bank notification. It wasn't my salary, but my boyfriend Ethan's company account. A transfer popped up. Recipient, Chloe. Amount, $500. 000. I stared at that name, feeling as if I had been doused with ice water. Chloe, the girl next door he spoke of, whose parents had died early, who was pitiful and delicate, and needed his constant care. What kind of care was this supposed to be? Holding my phone, I stood on the bare balcony of our future wedding home, feeling the evening breeze carry a biting chill. We are scraping together the down payment for this house, and he even used the excuse that the company was short on cash to make me dip into my own savings. Then, he managed to transfer $500,000 to his childhood sweetheart? Haha, how ridiculous. Ethan and I were college sweethearts, and after graduation, we founded Horizon Tech together. I am responsible for marketing and clients, while he is in charge of technology and management. $500,000? The company is thriving, our relationship is stable, and talking about marriage feels like a natural progression. At least, that's what I used to believe. What's wrong, Ava? Ethan's voice came from behind, carrying his usual gentleness. He walked over, trying to hug me from behind. I instinctively turned aside to avoid him and turned off the phone screen. It's nothing. I tried to make my voice sound normal, just thinking about the renovation. He didn't notice my unease, or rather, he simply didn't care. He excitedly pointed to the distant river view. Look, how beautiful the night scene is here. From now on, when we stand here, we can see the entire city's prosperity. I looked into the light in his eyes, but my heart was ice cold. In this prosperity, how much belongs to me, and how much will silently flow to that woman named Chloe? By the way, Ava, he shifted the topic. How is the down payment for the wedding house coming along on your side? On my end, the final payment for the project hasn't arrived yet, and the company can't move large sums of money for now. Familiar words, familiar excuses. I used to believe. Now, I only feel irony. I'll think of another way, I said perfunctorily, but in my heart, I had already made up my mind. I can't keep deceiving myself like this anymore. I have to find out exactly what this 500,000 is all about. What exactly is the relationship between Ethan and Chloe? Are there any other irregularities in the company's accounts? How many things has this man, whom I once trusted wholeheartedly and planned to entrust my life to, been hiding from me? Returning to the apartment we shared, Ethan quickly immersed himself in his work. I looked at his focused profile, once thinking it was the most charming sight in the world. Now, I only feel estrangement and hypocrisy. I need a breakthrough. The company's finances have always been managed by Ethan's trusted aide, Sarah. Sarah is a very capable businesswoman, who joined the company a year after me. She has a calm personality and doesn't talk much. Logically, she belongs to Ethan, but my intuition told me that she might be able to help me. The next day, I found an excuse to meet Sarah alone at a cafe near the company. Sister Ava, is there something you need from me? Sarah seemed a bit reserved. I got straight to the point. Sarah, hasn't our company recently made a payment of $500,000 to someone named Chloe? Sarah's hand holding the coffee cup trembled almost imperceptibly. She looked up, her eyes complex as she looked at me, hesitant to speak. Sister Ava, you don't need to cover for him. I interrupted her, my tone calm but carrying an undeniable authority. I need to know the truth. Under what pretext was this money spent? Is this really the first time? Silence. The soothing music in the cafe sounded particularly harsh at this moment. Here we go again. After a long pause, Sarah seemed to make up her mind and said softly, it's not the first time. Since last year, Ethan has been asking me to regularly transfer money to this account called Chloe, supposedly, for project consulting fees. Sarah's voice was very soft, tinged with a hint of reluctance. Each amount wasn't large, ranging from a few thousand to 10 or 20,000, but the frequency was high, including this times 500,000. The total is about 700,000 US dollars. Using the money earned from the company we built together to support his little sweetheart, and under the ridiculous pretext of project consulting fees. I just felt a wave of dizziness, my stomach churning violently. It turned out that the career I devoted myself to wholeheartedly was nothing more than his cash machine for hiding his mistress. I tried to maintain a calm exterior, but my fingertips dug deeply into my palm. I understand. I took a deep breath. Sarah, thank you for telling me this. Sarah looked at me, her eyes full of sympathy. Sister Ava, what do you plan to do? What should I do? My mind was racing. Anger and a sense of betrayal nearly overwhelmed me, but reason told me this was not the time to break down emotionally. I couldn't let those two scoundrels off easily. I want to take back everything that belongs to me, and even more. Sarah, I looked into her eyes and said word by word, I want to go solo. Will you help me? Sarah was stunned. She obviously didn't expect me to make such a request. Sister Ava, she hesitated a little. Ethan always. What can he give you? A finance position that could be pushed out to take the blame at any time? I looked her straight in the eye. Follow me, and we'll build something together. Horizon Tech's success today is half thanks to me. All the client resources are in my hands. I can take away far more than you imagine. I paused, then added, besides, are you willing to live forever in his shadow, handling those shady accounts? This sentence seemed to hit Sarah's sore spot. She was silent for a few seconds. Then her eyes gradually grew resolute. Sister Ava, I'm with you. Step 1, turning the insider, completed. Next, I will consolidate my client resources to prepare for going independent. At the same time, I need to obtain more direct evidence. That night, I pretended everything was normal, even taking the initiative to get close to Ethan. While he was taking a shower, I picked up his phone. The password was my birthday. I quickly opened WhatsApp and searched for Chloe's name. Dear, the 500,000 has been received. Love you, sweetheart. Use it first. Let me know if it's not enough. Ethan, when are you going to confront that woman? I don't want to wait any longer. Soon, baby. Once I get the company shares, I'll make her leave. My hands are trembling, not because of fear, but because of anger. It turns out, he not only cheated, but also schemed against the shares I hold, the company we founded together. He actually wants to take it all for himself? Fine, very well. Ethan, you are ruthless, but I, Ava, am not a lamb to be slaughtered. I quickly took screenshots of the key chat records, sent them to my private email, and then deleted the sent messages. Just then, a new message popped up, and it was from Chloe again. Ethan, my birthday is next month, and I want that red sports car you promised me before. Ethan quickly replied, no problem, baby, I'll transfer 200,000 to you next week. You can order it yourself. 200,000? Does he think the company's money is blowing in the wind? My anger flared up all of a sudden. I can't wait any longer. I must get back the money that belongs to me immediately. Early the next morning, I went straight to the company and found Ethan. Ethan, I need to withdraw my dividend for this year immediately. 500,000, I said firmly, leaving no room for negotiation. Ethan was taken aback for a moment. Frowning, Ava, didn't I tell you? The company's account. Don't give me those excuses. I interrupted him. This is what I deserve. The client's payment has long been received. Don't think I don't know. 500,000. It must be in my account today. Otherwise, we'll see each other in court. I was firm in my attitude, and Ethan was clearly caught off guard. He probably never expected that I, who had always been docile, would suddenly become so assertive. My heart sank. He looked at me, a flicker of doubt in his eyes, but in the end, he gave in. All right, I'll have Sarah handle it. The moment the money arrived, I felt no joy at all, only a coldness as if the dust had finally settled. In the afternoon, I took a leave, saying I wasn't feeling well. Actually, I drove to the overtime location Ethan told me about, a high-end cinema's underground parking lot. Sure enough, before long, Ethan's car drove in. In the passenger seat sat a young and beautiful girl, none other than Chloe. The two of them acted intimately, smiling as they walked into the elevator. I took out my phone, adjusted the focus, and followed them. The cinema was dimly lit, the perfect opportunity for a secret shot. I chose a seat in the back row behind them. I was completely unable to focus on what the movie was about. My camera was firmly locked onto the sweet couple in the front row. They nestled together as if no one else was around, whispering and laughing softly. Halfway through the movie, Ethan turned his head and kissed Chloe. The flash went off. The shutter was silent. Clear profile, intimate gesture, irrefutable evidence. With the evidence in hand, I did not hesitate for a moment and immediately left the cinema. On the way home, I directly contacted my lawyer to initiate the equity division process. At the same time, I reached out to Mr. Peterson, an investor who had previously shown interest in our company. Mr. Peterson, I have decided to sell the 40% stake I hold in Horizon Tech. Are you still interested? On the other end of the phone, Mr. Peterson was clearly surprised but quickly expressed strong interest. We agreed to have a detailed discussion the next day. After hanging up, I sent messages to several of my most important clients, subtly hinting at my plan to start my own business and testing their reactions. Most of the clients said they recognized me, Ava, and that no matter where I was, the cooperation could continue. My heart settled down a little. Everything is going according to my plan. At night, Ethan came home with a very grim expression. Ava, why did you suddenly withdraw the dividends today? And you withdrew 500,000? He questioned, his tone filled with suppressed anger. I looked at him coldly and threw the screenshots of the photos and chat records from my phone in front of him. Ethan, explain yourself. The $700,000 project consulting fee. And this, what is it? Ethan saw the photo and screenshot, and his face instantly turned pale. He opened his mouth, as if wanting to say something, but in the end, he only offered a futile excuse. Ava, listen to me. It's not what you think. Then what is it? I interrupted him, my voice cold. Am I overthinking, or are you just too good at acting? 700,000, Ethan, that's the money we worked so hard to earn together. You used it to support your little childhood sweetheart, and you still want to scheme for the shares I hold, trying to push me out? Ethan's face changed from pale to green, then to red. He seemed to have hit a sore spot, becoming angry and ashamed. So what if it is? He suddenly raised his voice, revealing his true colors. Ava, don't forget, I was the one who led the founding of the company. The core technology is in my hands. Even without you, Horizon Tech will keep running. Do you really think those clients only recognize you? His tough attitude completely extinguished the last flicker of hope in my heart. Good, very good. I nodded, smiling until tears almost came out. Since that's the case, there's nothing more to say. Ethan, let's break up. Starting tomorrow, I won't come to work at Horizon Tech anymore. After saying that, I turned and went back to my room to start packing. No hesitation, no lingering feelings. This place, this person, is no longer worth wasting a single second on. Ethan probably didn't expect me to be so resolute and stood there stunned. It was only when I dragged my suitcase out that he realized and stepped forward to stop me. Very well, Ava, don't be impulsive. Move aside. I looked at him coldly. In the end, he still let go of my hand, watching me leave with a complicated look in his eyes. The day after moving out of the apartment, I received a WhatsApp message from Chloe. A close-up photo of her and Ethan cuddling on the sofa, captioned, "Some people are destined not to stay. Childish provocation." I don't even have the interest to reply. I took a screenshot and forwarded it to Ethan. Take care of your woman. If this happens again, these photos won't be just for you and me to see. Ethan was silent for a long time before replying with a single word, okay. I thought things would settle down for a while, and I could focus on handling the share transfer and preparing the new company. Unexpectedly, Ethan soon made a new move. He actually parachuted Chloe directly into Horizon Tech as a project manager. How ironic. The news came from Sarah, whose tone was full of concern. Sister Ava, what does Ethan always mean by this? That Chloe doesn't understand anything at all. She comes in bossing everyone around and turns the project team into a complete mess. What do you mean? The chat records are unbearable to look at. It's nothing more than trying to provoke me or prove to me that he doesn't need me, that he can even promote a useless person. Utterly foolish. He probably forgot that I have always been the one following up on the company's key clients and projects. Chloe? She can't even grasp the basic project procedures. What can she possibly do? Sure enough, before long, bad news kept coming one after another. An important project under Chloe's charge fell seriously behind schedule due to her lack of expertise and poor communication, and it even offended the client. The customer called me directly to complain. Their tone was very dissatisfied. I comforted the customer and promised to resolve the issue as soon as possible. After hanging up, I had a new plan in mind. Isn't Ethan trying to prove that he can do it? Then I will make him completely lose his support. I contacted Isabella Rossi, a female entrepreneur I had interacted with before and who has always wanted to expand in the technology field. Isabella is a very ambitious and determined woman. We met at an industry summit before and had a great conversation. I showed her my new project proposal and the key client resources I have. Isabella, Horizon Tech is currently in chaos internally. which is the perfect opportunity for us to seize the market. My technical plan is mature. The clients are basically in place. What we lack now is funding and a platform. Isabella carefully reviewed my proposal and listened to my analysis of the market and Ethan's current situation, her eyes shining with excitement. Ava, I really admire your ability and courage. I'm investing in this project. Let's collaborate and make something big. The cooperation with Isabella was an instant success. We quickly registered a new company and formed a team. Sarah also officially resigned from Horizon Tech and joined my new company as the Chief Financial Officer. Meanwhile, Mr. Peterson's acquisition of Horizon Tech was also nearing completion. He formally took over the company's management and soon discovered the chaos in management caused by Ethan and the negative impact brought by Chloe. With the loss of several major clients, the company's performance declined sharply. Ethan was overwhelmed and at his wits' end, yet helpless. The technology he once took pride in became worthless after losing the market and clients. Mr. Peterson was very disappointed with his performance and gradually marginalized him, pushing him out of the core management team. Ethan completely lost control of the company. He was probably at his wits' end. One afternoon, he actually showed up downstairs at my new company. At that time, I had just finished a meeting with Isabella and Sarah and was about to go meet a client. I was momentarily stunned when I saw him. He looked much more haggard, his suit wrinkled, his hair a bit messy, completely lacking the vigor he once had. Ava, he called out to me, his voice hoarse. I stopped in my tracks and looked at him coldly. What do you want? He rubbed his hands together, his face wearing an almost pleading expression. Ava, can we talk? I know I was wrong. Please give me one more chance. Chance? I sounded as if I had just heard the biggest joke. Ethan, do you think there's anything left to talk about between us? Isabella and Sarah stood behind me, watching the scene with great interest. Ethan's gaze swept over them, a trace of embarrassment flashing across his face. He lowered his voice. Ava, for the sake of our past, help me. Horizon Tech is on the brink of collapse, and Mr. Peterson is about to completely kick me out. That's your own fault. I cut him off mercilessly. When you brought Chloe into the company, you should have expected this day. You think it can't survive without me? Now you see, without you, Horizon Tech might still have a chance, but without core clients and the market, you are nothing. My words were like knives, piercing Ethan's heart. His face turned pale, his lips trembling, unable to speak, and I looked at him, speaking each word clearly. Don't come looking for me again. It's long over between us. After saying that, I no longer looked at him and turned to leave with Isabella and Sarah. Behind me, Ethan stood there dejectedly, like an abandoned dog. My new company was developing smoothly and successfully. The collaboration with Isabella was very pleasant, and our new project progressed rapidly, quickly securing several important orders. A few months later, our first project was successfully completed, and the company officially held its opening ceremony. I invited all the important clients and partners. The scene was bustling with elegant guests and lively atmosphere. Isabella stood by my side, her smile as radiant as a blooming flower. My new secretary, a young and handsome puppy Leo, thoughtfully helps me handle all kinds of affairs. Everything is thriving. The ribbon-cutting ceremony is about to begin, and I am preparing to go on stage to give a speech. Suddenly, a commotion arose at the entrance. I looked up, my pupils suddenly contracting. Ethan had arrived. Chloe was following him. What surprised me even more was that Chloe's lower abdomen was slightly swollen. It looked like she was pregnant. This is just the beginning. Are they here to challenge the hall? Ethan's face was dark, his eyes looking at me on stage with a complex expression. Chloe linked her arm with his, chin slightly raised, casting a look of pride and provocation at me. The guests' attention was drawn over. The venue suddenly fell silent, and the atmosphere grew somewhat eerie. Isabella frowned and asked me softly, "Do you need to deal with it?" I shook my head, a cold smile curling at the corner of my mouth. Just in time. Saves me the trouble of having to knock on it later. I picked up the microphone, scanned the entire room with my eyes, and finally settled on Ethan and Chloe. Today, I sincerely thank all the guests for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend the opening ceremony of our new company and to witness the successful completion of our first project. My voice was clear and loud, filled with confidence. I especially want to thank my partner, Ms. Isabella Rossi. Without her trust and support, we wouldn't have achieved what we have today. I turned to the side and shared a smile with Isabella. Of course, I also want to thank my team, especially my capable assistant Leo. I smiled and patted Leo on the shoulder, and he immediately broke into a bright, sunny smile. A round of applause and friendly laughter broke out on the spot. I shifted my tone and looked toward Ethan once again. However, it seems like we have two uninvited guests here today. Everyone's attention once again focused on Ethan and Chloe. Ethan's face flushed red and then turned pale repeatedly. Chloe tightly grabbed his arm, her expression also somewhat unpleasant. This is Mr. Ethan, the former CEO of Horizon Tech. I smiled as I introduced him, deliberately emphasizing the word former. As for the person by his side, I paused, looking at Chloe's slightly rounded belly, my smile growing even brighter. Oh, congratulations to both of you. It seems that although Horizon Tech is poorly managed, when it comes to creating humans, their efficiency is quite high. Laughter erupted throughout the room. The harsh laughter slapped Ethan and Chloe's faces like a palm. Chloe's face instantly flushed bright red, her eyes welling up with tears. Ethan's fists clenched tightly, veins bulging on his forehead. He seemed about to lose his temper, but after glancing at the guests around, he ultimately held back. He took Chloe and slinked away from the crowd in embarrassment. Mr. Ethan, don't be in such a hurry to leave. I spoke again, my voice low but loud enough for the whole room to hear. As an old colleague, I have something to say to you. Ethan paused in his steps, not looking back. When the times abandon you, they won't even give you a warning. I looked at his back, my tone calm but tinged with a hint of sarcasm. Being complacent and nepotistic will only lead to your eventual elimination by the market. Enough. After speaking, I ignored them and raised my voice to announce to the entire room. To celebrate the grand opening of the company, I announced that this year, all employees' year-end bonuses will be doubled. Thunderous applause and cheers erupted on the spot. The excited expressions of the employees formed a sharp contrast with the pale faces of Ethan and Chloe. I saw Ethan's body sway, almost unable to stand, and he was eventually supported by Chloe as he awkwardly disappeared at the doorway. That opening ceremony marked the beginning of Ethan and Chloe's complete downfall. Later, I heard that Horizon Tech's debt problems worsened, and Mr. Peterson completely lost patience and initiated bankruptcy liquidation procedures. Ethan and Chloe's relationship also completely broke down. Without a source of income and under the pressure of pregnancy, the two began to blame each other and argue incessantly. It is said that once, the two had a big fight on the street, with Chloe accusing Ethan of being useless and causing her to suffer along with him. Ethan, in turn, cursed Chloe as a jinx, saying she not only wasted all his money but also ruined his career. In the end, Ethan probably couldn't bear the pressure or didn't want to take responsibility, so he abandoned the pregnant Chloe and disappeared without a trace. As for Chloe, left with no support and the child about to be born, life became extremely difficult. These pieces of news were all things Sarah occasionally heard from former colleagues and then gossiped about to me. I listened, feeling completely unmoved inside. All of this was their own doing. Another half a year passed. My company kept growing bigger, and the collaboration with Isabella became even closer. We became a rising star in the industry. That day, I had just finished an important multinational video conference when Leo knocked and came in. Miss Ava, there's a gentleman downstairs looking for you. He said his name is Ethan. Ethan, does he still have the nerve to come? Not seeing him, I refused outright. Leo nodded and was about to leave. Wait, I called after him. Let him come up. I want to see what he looks like now and what tricks he's trying to play. A few minutes later, Ethan was brought into my office. He looked even more down and out than the last time we met, wearing an ill-fitting cheap suit, his hair graying, eyes cloudy, completely unrecognizable from the competent tech prodigy he once was. He stood awkwardly in front of the desk, looking at me, his lips moving as if he wanted to say something. Sit down. I pointed to the chair opposite me, my tone flat. He hesitated for a moment, then carefully sat down, hands on his knees, like a prisoner awaiting judgment. What do you want from me? I asked. He took a deep breath, lifted his head, his eyes bloodshot and, pleading, Ava, I've been looking for a job recently, but, he spoke with difficulty. You know, with the current situation, no one is willing to hire me. I quietly looked at him, saying nothing. My voice was not loud, but every word struck straight to the heart. He seemed to muster up courage and continued. I want to ask, does your company still need people? I can start from the bottom, do anything. My skills are still there. I can. He actually stooped so low as to ask me for a job? That man who once looked down on me, thinking I was worthless without him and even wanted to kick me out, now actually wants to work at my company? What a huge irony. Ethan, I interrupted him, leaning slightly forward, looking into his eyes, speaking each word clearly and coldly. Do you think my company would need a talent who is disloyal, manages chaotically, and almost ruined his own company? His face instantly turned as pale as paper. He was tongue-tied, unable to speak. Your skills? I sneered. The market changes by the day, and what you have is long outdated. Besides, what I have the least shortage of here are technical talents. Ethan, admit it. I stood up and walked to the huge floor-to-ceiling window, overlooking the city below. You have already been eliminated by this market. Your era ended long ago. Ethan slumped in the chair, his eyes vacant, as if all his strength had been drained away. I didn't look at him again. Leo, see the guest out. Leo walked in and made a pleased gesture towards Ethan. Ethan stood up in a daze and staggered out of my office. Watching his disappearing figure, I felt no thrill of revenge, only a complete sense of relief. Everything from the past finally came to an end. The sunlight outside was just right, illuminating the business empire I had built. The future that belongs to me is just beginning.